the instructor's teaching materials, you will find the storyboards and animatics, okay, folder. Inside there, okay, that's where you find the storyboarding explanations. But most important for what we're doing right now is that's where you find Abu Dhabi Extraordinary Stories. So when I click on it, just like last time, there it is. It opens in its own window. And from there, I can download it. Okay. Now, at least on Chrome, I don't know about Safari, sorry. On Chrome, it has automatically downloaded it to my download folder. Okay, so that's where it is. It doesn't allow me to direct it to a place I want it to be. So what I've done, okay, I go to the Finder and you can see right there that it's there in downloads. Now, what I have created elsewhere in my computer, so wherever you keep stuff for this class, you can create a folder and you can call it Animatic Practice. All right? Because that's what we're going to do. All right? And so what I do is I drag it over. Okay? And now it's there. Give me half a second. So from here, this is where I'm going to keep everything related to this. I don't know if you guys think about this. I don't know if you've been taught it in any earlier classes, but it is important to have your stuff organized, your project work. Now, it is particularly important for something like Premiere. So when you work with Photoshop, once you bring something in, that's where it is. Okay, so you save it where you want to, etc. It's there. Now, some of you guys might have found out about when you were doing your poster, if you took it into Illustrator, and I'm almost thinking Canva must work this way, that if you don't embed it, it's somewhere else. So you need to know where that is. So if you submit something to me or to someone else in your group and they try to open it, if that outside file is not there, then they can't find it. You haven't included it. Okay? The way Premiere works is Premiere actually has nothing inside of it. Okay? What it shows you is a collection of elements, and it helps you organize that collection of elements into a video. Now, if you don't have those elements organized into a place, you're in trouble. Yeah? So because you go to find it, you may find your project, which the key file that, and I'll show you that in a minute, but if you don't have your stuff organized, it's going to put you in a bad way. Okay? So that, because then you're going to be searching everywhere. So you need to organize your stuff. So I have created, this is in my file for this class. And so I have a file for Animatic Practice. Okay? And so inside, first thing I do is I'm putting this video. So this next practice is all based on the same video we've been looking at quite a bit. So I'm going to open it in QuickTime. So there it is. It by default, it automatically opens in QuickTime. I'm going to grab that frame. So just like before, I could do Command C or let's see. There it is. I can just do copy, same as Command C. Now, once I Command C it, it is sitting in the clipboard. What that means is it's sitting on a place that the computer knows where to grab it. Computer knows where it is, but we don't have it in a form that we can use it. So we need to save this as an image. Before, with you doing the storyboard, all I had to do was copy it, go into Microsoft Word, and then paste it, right? Hopefully, okay? It's really super simple. But here, we're going to need to save a version of it. It can't just sit out there, okay? And even if we open Premiere right now, we can't go into Premiere and just paste it because Premiere doesn't hold anything, okay? It organizes things. So it operates a little differently. So what I do, everybody's on Mac. Wait, somebody's not on Macintosh. Is there somebody on a PC? Okay, Warda's not here. Okay, because she's on a PC. But on Macintosh, all we have to open is Preview. I realize these are super tiny and I have a lot of apps on my computer, but I just open what's called Preview. Okay, so I open Preview. Now it's open. So you can see I've got the files up at the top. And I am going to do new from clipboard. So I do new from clipboard. Look at that. There it is. That's the picture I copied. But I need to save it. So now I'm going to do save. I'm going to call it shot one. We're already in animatic practice. It's in 357 Spring. So okay, so that shows you where it is in my structure, but I want it to be in animatic practice. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to save, and I'm going to do the same process. Now, yeah, this one, it is going to be simpler if we all start at the beginning, because then we can focus on what happens at Premiere. The instruction for activity 15 was for you to start not at the beginning, but the wisdom of the wisdom of wise men, which I know is not what it is, but it's something like that. The vision of wise men, sorry, because it's a really nice phrase. That's where I wanted you to start, not at the beginning. But in this thing, we're going to start at the beginning. So now I'm going to close this. So that's closed. And I can see that it's saved over here. There it is. Right now, the two look exactly the same, but they're different. The one is a video because it's MP4, and the other is a PNG. So it's a still image. So I'm going to do that little scan forward. And now I'm just going to walk through this. And I'm going to, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to record 5 of these. Oh, wait. There it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go with those 5 shots. So anybody who's following along with me, if you can just do that and collect that stuff into that folder, you can work from there. Now, something you have, has anybody in the room ever worked with Premiere? Okay. So this one, I don't think there's easy video editing somewhere on the web, maybe, but Premiere really has become the standard, and it is the standard. And so I guarantee you there's things we're going to do or try to do, or in building the animatic we're going to do, that are not really possible elsewhere. So I'm going to open Premiere. If you need it, you can download it from Creative Cloud. So you said, there's my Creative Cloud. See, I could update a couple things, but this says, look, I've got Premiere Pro. Even from here, I could open it. So I can open or not. There it is, it's coming. Okay, so all right. The one thing you're going to see when you go in here, however you open it, you're either going to see down the left-hand side, or like here, it's showing you in the middle. There are whole lots of tutorials here. That's the other great thing about us having Creative Cloud, is there's tons of tutorials. I'm going to give you the basics, and then on Thursday, I'm going to go beyond the basics in some ways, okay? But specifically for what we're trying to do. So I do know how to work in it, and I believe I can show you how to work in it. This is going to be one of the most complicated windows you've seen, because it's a whole lot of different things going on. So I'm not going to start the tutorial, but I could. What I'm going to do now is, remember I said it's what Premiere does is organize assets. It organizes pieces of video, pieces of still image, pieces of sound. And we're going to build a library, but where it holds it, that library is called a project. So that's what Premiere calls it. So we're going to create a new project. I am going to call it Animatic Practice. I am going to save it specifically, okay? It has an automated place where it saves it. You don't want to do that because you won't be able to find it. All right, it is a very organized place, but you want to keep all the pieces of your project together. So I am going to go to, look, there's Animatic Practice. And I'm going to save the project there. Okay. So then I say, I'm not going to change any of these settings. Don't change any of these settings. Okay. So then I'm going to say, okay. I think I said, okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Now I'm a little happier. That other one wasn't looking like I wanted to. You can see on the left-hand side, it says, learn the basics, Premiere Pro overview. So there's access immediately when you open this to a whole bunch of tutorials, okay? And they are useful. Now, can you guys see that okay? Should I make it darker? I realize this is gonna make your keyboard hard to see. This is the downside of this room. And I've always worked in the dark interface, but so now we've got all these windows. You're not sure what to do. First thing to do, we can't build something until we start bringing pieces in. So I'm going to go to File, Import, way down there. Okay. Or Command I. And because I've organized everything into Animatic Practice, I know exactly where to find it. So I'm going to bring in first, I'm going to bring in Animatic, the story. This is the original video that you've downloaded from Blackboard. All right. So it's importing. There it is. That's going to be the assets, the media assets for this project. Then I'm going to import some more. And there's the project. You don't import that because that's what we're in, but I can shift click all 5 of the shots and it's importing. So all this stuff is now in my library. Now where I'm going to start, and this is where this is easy. We are just going to use the soundtrack off of this video. And then we're going to put those still pictures that make the animatic. Now the video exists, but that's not the point here. We're deconstructing it in ways that I hope and anticipate it will help you understand the structure. So none of those pictures or videos are anywhere except in the folder I have it. This tells Premiere what you want to use. So until we output a video, this is just connected. So that's why we want it to all be in that folder. Because somebody at some point is going to come to me and say, sir, I can't find. And my response will be, did you put it in folder like I talked about in class or like is in this video? Because yeah, we are recording. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do now, what's really great, this over here, okay, this is the timeline. This is a timeline editing system that's super awesome. And for you guys, it's what's normal. I used to edit on linear editing systems, and unless you've done it, it's not gonna strike you. It's like with Photoshop, I've worked in a darkroom. So I know that in Photoshop, I can do in 2 seconds what it used to take 5 hours to do, literally. Okay, because you were doing it with processes and chemicals and all kinds of things. Not anymore. Here, I'm not locked into whatever edit I choose because this has massive versatility. Okay, this is so much more fun and ultimately has so much more possibilities, and every mistake is completely repairable easily. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, as you can see here, if you look, that little icon right there, and the fact that I can scrub it tells me that that's a video. So I know that's a video. If we look at the still pictures, now, first of all, they're .png, so we know, hopefully we're getting used to PNG, JPEG, AI, PSD, whatever it is, okay? We know it's a single image, but this is a video. So I am going to click on it and drag it to my timeline. So it's sitting on top of my timeline. I let go. Awesome. Now it shows me everything in my timeline. Okay? There are immediately available to you 3 channels of video and 3 channels of audio. Okay? Unfortunately, in this case, and that's why it's practice, we can't break the audio apart. So we can't separate the sound, we can't separate the music, and we can't separate the voiceover. It's already combined in this video. So we're not going to do that part of it. But you could have speaking, sound effects, and music all in their own line, and then you can time them together in a timeline. All right, but this is practice. I'm not going to overcomplicate. But what I want to do is I want to clear this audio away. Now, if we look here, this is the program monitor. And the program monitor shows me what I've edited, shows me what the consequence is of the things I've done. So let's just check it. I push play.
The story is centuries deep.
Okay, so we know all those things. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want to take the video away. Now, if we look here, you can see if I click on either the audio or the video. So this is the top part's the video. They are connected, but I can unconnect them. Okay. So I go to edit. Let me see, wait. Sorry, I go to clip and I go to unlink. So now what you can see is if I click on the audio, it's there. If I click on the video portion, it's there. Now, the great thing about this, all I have to do, this is like working in Microsoft Word. All I have to do is push the delete key. And now we have a radio commercial. So if I go up here to the program monitor,
and endless like the desert, where it opens like a mirage.
Okay.
Unlikely.
So we're not going to mess with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save what's going on. And remember, once you're in Premiere, you've got these links. You've also got them through Creative Cloud for other tutorials to learn from. Okay, so that's the program monitor. What I'm going to do now is if I go to this video and I double click it, it shows up on the left-hand side. That's the source monitor because that's going to tell me some important information, but that's not the outcome. That's showing me the original video. So we're going to be able to time some of the things we're doing. All right. Now, let's just, if we remember, they're like 3 seconds. So I'm going to go to shot number 1. Simple as pie. I'm just going to drag it to, I'm just going to drag it into the video source. If I use this blue line up here, there she is. Now, by default, a still image is only 5 seconds long. Okay. Now, very clearly, that's way too small to do anything with. All right. So you need to know how some of these parts of the editing window work. And that happens here. This can allow us to zoom way into that shot. So here, if we go back to the original, which it did by default, that is showing us 1 minute and 31 seconds, the whole video. Okay, so 5 seconds is a tiny little thing there. Okay, if I take this bottom and I shrink it down, what we do is we automatically zoom in. Now, there's a number of cool things that happen when we zoom in because we start to see the sound. Okay, I can guarantee you that where the sound gets bigger, that's where the guy talks. The music stays very subtle and in the background. So it's when the sound waves are small. So let's just prove my point here. And see, that's what's cool about scrubbing. This is called scrubbing. Moving across it, we can generally hear what the sound is. And there.
The story is deep.
Okay, so you can see the sound. Now there is another place we can do manipulation for visualizing, and that's here on the side. Now we can see the tracks even more. And what this is showing us is actually, because there's two of them, it's showing us that this is stereo. So it is two channels of sound within that audio channel. But that's going to help us edit some. And here what you can see is we are looking at 8 seconds. That is 8 seconds of that soundtrack, whereas before we saw 1 minute and 31 seconds. So what I'm going to go do up here with the source video is I'm going to let it tell me, and there's all these switches there. Now I'm scrubbing that. Now this doesn't affect, you can see it doesn't affect the timeline, doesn't affect anything there. And I come here. Okay, so there's the first shot. There she is. It zooms. Okay, what I can see there is, you see in the blue, okay, the blue is telling me that that first shot lasts 2 seconds and 21 frames. There's 30 frames in a second. Okay, let's not worry about the frames so much. Let's just say it works 221. So now what I can do is I can take this okay, so now they're both 221. Shortening this photograph is pretty easy. All right, and all I do is I come up to the edge of it, and do you see the cursor change? Okay, there's a bunch of cursor changes you could do here, but for the simple kind of editing we're doing, okay, and all I do is I grab the end, and I'm going to drag it here, and there we go. And maybe you noticed it automatically locked in there. So if we want to check what we've done, let's just look.
The story.
Okay. If we go here, remember what you heard.
The story.
Okay. So the timing is right because it told me it's right. Okay. So we're going to go now to the second picture, and this is super fun and easy as well. And we just drop it in. All right. And it is now, if we look, it is. Okay, there's no black between it. It's a perfect video edit. And because the sound is underneath, the sound is still running. We have done nothing to the sound. You're not going to do anything to the sound in this exercise. Okay? So once again, I'm going to find out how long this is. Now, let's... All right, so that's actually interesting as well. It tells me it's right on a beat, but what I want to do to know this time exactly is I'm going to use this bracket is called mark in, so it's going to mark an in point. So that in point is at 3:03, which is not exactly right, but that's okay. And
the story is centuries.
that is like a 1 second shot. Okay, so I'm gonna, right next to it, it pops up and it says mark out. So I'm going to mark out. And that tells me, okay, now the white tells me once I've marked in and out, I don't have to do any math. It tells me that shot is 1 second and 9 frames. Okay, so now I can go down here. All right, and that's, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it about there. Let's just see if the timing is there. But actually, what I can do is I can now see I have double clicked, I've control clicked onto that image, onto that video source. I am going to do speed duration. If I look at the other side, it tells me, man, I was really close. That's what it tells me. All right, so I double clicked. I'm going to change that to 09 because I know that. I'm going to say okay, and it has now shortened it to 109. So let's take a quick look at this one.
The story is century.
Okay, and as you can see, that second shot goes over the talking because you can see the talking. So that's right. But let's just check it. We'll start it.
The story is centuries.
Okay, so there's going to be an edit in that. So I'm going to do the next 3 shots. If you have questions, you can ask me. And then I'm going to stop the recording of the video and so that I can upload it and you guys can practice it. I'm going to write in activity 16 what it is, which is then you guys doing the first 10 shots and editing it. But let me do the 5. And then I'm also going to show you how you output this movie. Okay. So let me do that. So the third shot is shot 3 because I've given it a good name. I know what it is. And I can move that. I'm going to say, okay. Right, so that's. All right, so that's the new out point. That's the new in point. That tells me it's 114, so essentially it's very much like the last one. So I can also do it up here. Speed duration. There it goes, it's shortened down. I can check it.
The story is centuries deep.
So essentially it ends at centuries deep.
Story is centuries deep.
I have never quite heard that. So the next shot is going to be shot 4. Let's find out how long shot 4 is. Whoops. So that's new in point. That's new out point. There you go, 102. We got a lot of 1 second shots together. Gonna go clip, speed duration. There you can see right here, I've got the information available to me. 102. It's probably maybe too exact, but let's just see. We'll take this one back.
Deep.
Okay, so that's just in the music.
Deep.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure she's going to end before that. So there's shot 5. And actually along the way, I should have been saving. So I'm going to do Command S and save the project so I don't lose anything. We'll time this shot again. Got a new in point. Get a new out point. Wow. Okay, so they're all in the 1 second range. Go there, clip, speed duration. I know right there what it should be. What? There we go. Okay, so 120, I say, okay. Now, what I want to show you in order to output this as a video, so you're going to do that 10 times. And you're going to save it. You're going to keep it because we're going to add some movement to those videos. Like the first one definitely had a zoom in it and those sorts of things. They're all cuts, but this is just getting you familiar with working with Premiere. So I'm going to go right here, right at the end of that sound. Okay. And I'm going to show you one of these tools, and it is the razor blade. So there's the razor blade right there. I'm going to put the razor blade, as you can see, it's got the line. I'm going to put it right on the blue line. All I'm going to do is click it. And now if I go back to the arrow, and what you can see is that's separate. Okay, it's two separate things. So I hit delete, it's now gone. I have made an 8-second video. Okay, now this is to show you that the way I output this in where it turns it into something is I go to File, I go to Export, I'm going to export media. So I'm going to export the whole thing. All right, so the format's going to be QuickTime. I'm not going to mess with any of that stuff. But I want to change the output name. So this allows me to save it. So I'm going to go to Animatic Practice, but I'm going to call it Animatic Demo #1. I'm going to say save. So it's going to save it in that same folder. That is another reason you want to put your project into a folder that you know. Because if you just go Command S and save it, you're not going to know where it is. If you've already put the project into that folder, it will put it into a folder that you know where it is, because that's the choice it gave me. Now, I changed the name because I'm going to have to do this again. But so there it is. It says here, what I'm going to do is just click export. And because it's 8 seconds, this should not take very long. Okay. And what it does, bam, is it has now put that together into a movie. And if I go back over here, it's not an exciting movie. All right, let's pull this down. So I'm now in QuickTime.
The story is centuries deep.
Okay, without movement, those shots are a lot more brutal than they are in the actual video. But the point is, I could figure out if the timing works, and I can add movement to them. That's what we're going to do on Thursday. So what I want you to do, and I'm going to write it down for the next activity. Okay, and if you've gone through the video already and done your storyboard for 15, which I'm going to reopen, okay, you're going to do a 10-shot video of this so that you can get some exercise in Premiere, and then you can begin to ask me relevant questions that I can show you how they work. So really, that's it. And I'm going to stop this. Okay.